Welcome to the Vault Podcast, classic music reviews, presented by IV Creative. Now, here's your hosts, B. Cox and the crew.
Greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Vault Podcast, classic music reviews, presented by IV Creative. It's a perspective of the classics from a fresh point of view. We appreciate you for taking your time and lending your ears to our perspective. You could be anywhere listening to anything, but you're right here with us, so we thank you. With you today is yours truly, B. Cox, and with me I have the crew comprised of these fine gentlemen around me. To my left, we have my boy Cousin Damo, aka Dominique Marks. He is the host of the Rawkus podcast, released every Wednesday, available on Podbean, also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Podcasts. Make sure you check that out, follow and subscribe. To my right, we have DET Dave, my boy Dave Thomas. He is the host of the Ground Rule Double podcast on Facebook Live. Make sure you go follow the page on Facebook Live, and you can see him weekly, usually anywhere between Monday, Tuesday nights, and Thursdays and Friday nights. Twice a week, you make sure you go follow them and check out their Facebook Live stream. Also, shout out to the Renaissance Forum for having their reunion show earlier this week. Went very well. So glad to see the four of y'all back together.
Yeah, dope.
And to the front of me at my 12 o'clock is my man Jason J.O., hip-hop connoisseur from everything from down south, East Coast, West Coast, and everything in between. Appreciate having y'all gentlemen here in front of me. And as always, we like to take you back in time. And today, we take you back to the 1999, 1999, and the releasing of Rawkus Presents Soundbombing II, of course, on Rawkus Records. Released May 18th, 1999, recorded between 1998 and 99, on, of course, Rawkus Records. This was a track, had a runtime of just over 50 minutes, 55 minutes. Had a total tracks, including interludes and skits, of 27 tracks. Had producers on there by the Beat Miners, the Mighty Me, Lee Stone, Capital, the Crime Lord, Paz One, from Posness, from De La Soul, DJ Spinner, of course, High Tech, Thirsting Howell III, and LP, Diamond D, and Nick Wiz. Nick Wiz, of course, was also a producer on the first Soundbombing, which came out in 1997. This on Rawkus Records. This was a compilation album, so a number of different artists who were on Rawkus, and then also artists who were affiliated with Rawkus who were there. Some of the Rawkus artists who were on this, of course, LP, who was a part of Company Flow, High Tech and Reflection Eternal, Mos Def, Shabam Sadiq. You also had R.A. the Rugged Man, Pharoah Monch, who had just signed with Rawkus at that time as well, has a couple of tracks on here. And there were some guest spots by artists such as Sadat X, guest spots also as well by Eminem. And you also saw Prince Paul, who was on this, did an interlude with J Live. And you also saw Thurston Howell III and Tash and Dilated Peoples, who did the actual song Soundbombing on here as well. So this was one of many compilation albums that were put out on Rawkus, as you gentlemen remember. They put out the Lyricist Lounge series that had 3 Lyricist Lounges. They had the Soundbombing. This was the second one. The first one famously came out 2 years ago. And then there was the Soundbombing 3 that also came out as well, which I'm actually not that familiar with, to be quite honest with you. It must have come out in the latter days of Rawkus.
You didn't miss much. It was 2002. You didn't miss much.
Okay, well.
What did you with Nate Dogg, the Old No Dream? Or?
No, that was Lyricist Lounge
3. Lyricist Lounge 3.
Gotcha.
Soundbombing 3 was the one with Styles and Pharaoh.
Okay, yeah. So, but this one was one that was highly anticipated because of the track listing and who was on there as well. So it was something that came out, and of course the lead single on this was 1999 with Common and Sadat X, and also Talib Kweli on the intro. That was produced, of course, by High Tech. Y'all know I have my feelings about Sadat X. Y'all know I have my feelings about Sadat X. I was a little disappointed when I just heard Kweli on the intro and nothing else, because, God, this could have been an epic song if he was on there. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So, Soundbombing Volume 2, gentlemen. This is another offering by Rawkus when I felt like they were in their wheelhouse before the wheels started to come off, so to speak. And this was right in that time when they were releasing quality projects. So we'll sort of get into it, into listening to it to find out how it is you felt about it, especially now after all these years. And now that Rawkus is kind of passed on by the wayside, and all we have pretty much are memories and shows like this to think about them. So I'll go ahead and start with Dave. Dave, I know you were really big into the Rawkus movement, especially in their heyday. I know this was an album that you personally lobbied that we be able to cover. So I at least wanted to get your perspective on when you first heard it, what you thought, and then now after listening to it this past, leading up to this, what you thought about it.
First, it's like when you see Eminem on this joint, it's like, ooh, Eminem's on this joint. And, you know, back in the day, not a lot of people had really found out about Eminem until the Slim Shady LP came out. Yeah. So I felt kind of prideful that I was able to listen to him before everybody else got the exposure to him. 1999, just like B said, it's like, damn, why couldn't Quali have a verse on this track?
Yeah.
Why couldn't he have a verse on this track? His intro set up the song perfectly. It made all the sense in the world for him to have a verse on this joint. Crosstown Beef. When I'm looking at the notes now, I didn't even know Paz had produced this track, and that's probably my favorite track on this joint.
Okay.
Like 7XL. I slept on a lot of these tracks. I slept on a lot of these tracks. I listened to the ones that I knew were gonna be fire, but I slept on a lot of these tracks, and it really just made me elevate this album to even higher heights than I had it before.
Got it. Indeed. Jay, I'll start with you. When you first heard the album and guess now listening to it, what you thought about it between differences in opinion?
Right. So yeah, for me that was senior year of high school, which coincided perfectly with the 1999 joint. So kind of put you like in the state of euphoria back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But I gotta be honest, like with Dave, like, I mean, yeah, I know Eminem was on there, but that wasn't even what drove me like to want to listen to the album. That was just it was like a pleasant surprise. You know what I'm saying? Hearing him and like the first official track, and I just like how they mixed it. Like, it was like a DJ session. You know what I'm saying?
The album. The album was so magnificently mixed. Right. From head to toe, it was flawlessly mixed.
Right, and then it's like the way it just went from like the one track to the next. Like it kind of faded out. Then it was like the instrumental, like from
scratching.
Right, the scratching, like with with Stanley Kubrick, like the Stanley Kubrick joint. Like, you know what I'm saying, how he was like mixing and everything like that, and then he already like reverbed on. Yo, feel that bass line, kid. Like that joint just got me sice. But yeah, back then, I mean, I just loved it just as much. And then it was one of my friends, like. And this is actually an overlooked track for me to drink with Thurston Howell on it. Yeah. I'm saying my friend, she put me onto the joint, like, because she was just so into Thurston Howell, and, like, she just, like, squealed when she heard his voice. And then, like, I actually listened to what this dude was saying. I'm like, dude, like, these low-live dudes are sick with these lyrics. Like, yeah, like, so, yeah, man, just, like, listening to it again just, like, really took me back. I mean, even though I do kind of listen to it, like, more frequently than, like, some would, but yeah, I mean, just like really took me back to that time, especially with the 1-9-9-9. Even though I know you have your feelings about Sadat X, don't get me wrong. And I will say, like, you know, I do feel Common did this thing on there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just remember, like, what was it, like, third period in high school? Like, we played a joint, and it was the part where Common was like, I hold the mic like a memory. Like, people just, like, their jaws just dropped. They just, like, you know what I mean?
Hold the mic like a memory. Talking about these metaphors, but these are similes.
Street memories. Like, so, yeah, man, like, it was just like a pleasant, like,
high tech with the beat drop.
Right. Yeah. If I may, I was a little bit jealous having graduated in the year 2000 that the class before us had an ill song like this that they could sort of cop as an anthem, and we didn't have anything similar.
These bands played. They played 1999 at our prom. Like, for real.
Yeah, I was kind of jelly, man, being the next graduating class and being as though we always kind of had this little thing between us and our class of 99. You know, 99 to 2000 used to always jab at each other, man. Always. The fact that they had this.
Now, I will say, in addition to that, we also had like another, like the Bone Thugs and Harmony joint, East 1999.
Yeah. This dude, man. It's all good. But nah, I definitely understand that.
Prince too.
Yeah.
Prince too.
Yeah, it's cool though, man. You know, but I will say it's an ill track though, and I definitely give props to Common for doing this thing, you know. And I'll leave it at that. Damo, your reaction when listening to you first heard it, and then reacting to it now when you listen to it after all these years.
Of course, you know I was around all y'all rappers in high school, so you know.
Yeah.
Of course,
the rappers in high school loved this album. My clip, yeah.
So I had no choice but to listen to it. all these freestyling guys with the lunch table beating. All I did was beat on the table. No lyrics over here. But I liked it then. You know, it was definitely a heavy rotation, and because I think we didn't even call them mixtapes back then. So this is the newer. You would feel like this was kind of like a mixtape, and of course, your 199 song. So, and then he like introduced us to Pharoah, and that's when I started like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get his album come out.
Yeah.
And then the Eminem was a surprise because I think I really didn't. You first white boy after Vanilla Ice to really?
He might have been.
Everlast had some.
Everlast
Milk
had
Bone. Well, yeah, Milkbone had that. The one song that everybody knows about Milkbone, that "Keep It Real" with that instrumental, which is. I'm sorry, when you want to talk about some getting attract people to freestyle on, that "Keep It Real" beat is probably that's the beat that Big L and Jay killed on that. My
7-minute
goodness,
freestyle.
Yeah, so. Nah,
you know, going back to listen to it now, it took me back to high school. That feeling of being at the table, listening to y'all rap. Like, oh yeah, either the thumbs up or the thumbs down on that one. So, you know, like, oh yeah, that was it. I think I lost the friendship. I lost the friendship from giving somebody a thumbs down.
Hey, look, if you
couldn't hold your own, you got the almighty thumbs down.
If you didn't bring it at the lunch table,
he got so many thumbs down. He started dressing like he was a white boy.
Yeah.
He was a rapper one time.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, next school year, he had on rock clothes and didn't talk to me no more.
Throwbacks from yesteryear. That is completely hilarious, though. So, that does bring back. You know, if you didn't bring it at the lunch table, man, that's one thing universally when you freestyle. If you didn't bring it at the lunch table, either by joning or by freestyling, then you did not. You got thrown into the den of wolves, and a pack of bones came out.
No respect.
So, my whole perspective on this album back then, of course, like Damo said, I sat at the lunch table with the rappers, the producers, and the hip hop heads. So we used to sit there and bring albums to the table, and we would sit there and debate. And it was our crew. We all used to sit down. Everybody knew, of course, about 1999 because we saw the video on Rap City.
Right.
You know, and when it came out, it was just like, damn, this beat ill. It's another high-tech produced track. And you're just sitting there like, okay, this is vintage high-tech. And then you start getting into some of these other tracks. And here, Any Man by Eminem, you start listening to it again about how it was mixed, how each track transitioned from one to the next skit, from the skit into the next track, like it sort of flowed. So excellent job of it being mixed. There's a lot of things on here that I love about it. I love the fact that it's not just a Rawkus compilation album. There's a lot of great guest spots from non-Rawkus artists. We mentioned Eminem, Tash and Dilated Peoples on the Soundbombing track, Bahamadia being on here, Grand Poobah, of course, on here as well, Diamond D from DITC producing and also doing the track on here as well. You know, the Cocoa Bees, the Cocoa Brothers, more popularly known and should be known as Smith & Wesson. Tech and Steel. You know, when they had the lawsuit thing and they were not using the Smith & Wesson name, they were known as the Cocoa Brothers. I prefer Smith & Wesson over Cocoa Brothers any day. And the producers they had on here, the Beat Miners, Beat Junkies, also Marley Marl, Pete Rock, High Tech, Evidence, you know, Q-Tip, a lot of different other producers on here. And it was really a collaborative effort, a compilation album that we used to see a lot more of back in the day that I feel as though we don't see more of now because people aren't really clicked up. I mean, now you had things like, you know, you would have Pro Era and then the ASAP Mob and things like that, but you don't really see a lot of rappers and then also people outside of the clique coming to do compilations. So it was refreshing to go back to be able to see that again.
Well, the Dreamville crew, they just did that.
Yeah, Dreamville. And,
they just did that.
But Dreamville's a bit of a throwback because, you know, I think stylistically they kind of fit back into that mold of the way that things used to be when artists in collaboration.
And that was a great album.
Yeah, it was. If I do have to say one thing, I have a bit of an interesting take on this. When looking at Rawkus's roster, the guys at the top of the roster that were the best of the best were really, really good. The rest of the roster, though, it's a little questionable. Like High and Mighty, I mean,
all right. Look, High and Mighty. Look, what was the B-Boy document '99?
Yeah,
they bang that track out. I mean,
that's where we differ.
You can't put it up against Moses. It's just Most.
I mean, they held their own, but of course
they held their own. But
Mad Skills is the one that really
exactly
did this thing on there.
You let Most bat lead off. It's like
right.
Yeah, but I Am Mighty and that album Home Field Advantage. Yeah, I remember being back in the Duck Down chat like in '99. I remember when this came out and a guy from Brooklyn was on there that used to be on there. He said, "Y'all just listen to High and Mighty's album. It's boring." And then I went ahead and downloaded it and Napster and listened to it.
You put a virus on your computer for
Nah, I didn't. Napster wouldn't give you viruses. It was LimeWire and Kazaa that was giving you. So
guilty as charged.
So I mean, so that's the thing I kind of like about it. But yeah, the top of Rawkus' roster, I'm talking about the Defs, the Qualis, the Pharaohs. Those are like the really, really good. The Reflection Eternal with High Tech. Those are the really good artists. A lot of the bottom part of the rosters, though, not that great, at least in my opinion.
Got a question for you. Do you put Shabam Sadiq in the top or the bottom?
I put him in the bottom. And if you would have asked me after listening to Soundbombing I, I would have told you he was probably closer to the top than the bottom. But anything after Soundbombing I,
trash.
I don't know what happened to that dude, man.
Because
the two tracks he had on here, I was just like, damn, is this the same dude I heard spit Arabian Nights?
You put him
over that ill ass Nick Wiz beat? Like, come on, dude.
You put him on a track with Pharaoh? Just wow.
Yeah.
Are you asking to be like destroyed?
It's almost as bad.
I mean, on the Simon Says joint, I mean,
yeah.
No. You hold on, wait. And I was about to say that too. I was about to say that. I'm like, I don't really think he should have been on that Simon Says remix.
Didn't I say that then?
He did.
Yeah, he said that.
Damo said that.
Damo said that. Like, I agree 100% with you. I'm listening to them just like.
He was shaking his head over here. Jay was.
Yeah.
I'm just
like,
no.
Yeah, no, he was right, though. He shouldn't have been on there.
He was right. Damo was right. 100%. Like, no, he shouldn't have been on there.
He just hasn't been the same since the early Rawkus days on the first.
He's jealous.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. His skills just sort of just fell down or whatever or lost them.
You're around all them top heavy hitters.
Yeah.
He probably just lost confidence.
Yeah, he probably did. But
he got mad because they wanted to put their focus in Most. They wanted to put their focus in Quali and High Tech, and they wanted to put their focus in Pharaoh.
Yeah, but
everybody else was kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah, but he's not any one of them.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
that's like
you got the heat, and I'm not about to push you because you don't got the heat.
That's like Judd Bushler wanting to get a contract with the Rockets because he ain't getting enough clock with the Bulls. I mean, come on, man. Okay, I'll go ahead and give you this $30 million contract with Jason Caffey going to the Warriors to go get clock because he think he ain't getting enough credit. Like, dude, it's Jordan and Pippen's team, nigga. Like, this is like you want to get the same props as Robin, Jordan, and Pippen. You not them,
right? You ain't even trying, like, right. Bros.
I mean, he was a good role player, but that's what he was, a role player. So play your role, player.
Yeah. Set these screens and grab them rebounds
and get these championships
and get these
rings.
Yeah.
Get these rings.
So, all right. So enough about that. But that's the way I feel about it. So we'll sort of get into highlights on the album, what you sort of liked. I'll start with Damo this time around. Any highlights, any lowlights, and then anything you might appreciate more now than then.
Everything with Pharaoh highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know the World
War III.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor.
Common and 99. Of course, we got to go with M. I thought they were trying to get M to sign the Rockets back then.
Nah, Dre had him.
Yeah.
Dre had him.
I know how he felt about Rockets. I think he wanted to sign the Rockets.
I'm trying to remember what he said at the end of Any Man. He said, reaching your billfold for 10 ducats and pull out Slim Shady shit that's on Rawkus. Mm-hmm. I thought that he had signed with Rawkus.
Yeah, that's why I remember them saying. I remember seeing something where they say they was trying to get him there. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna lie, like I know the whole story, so I am gonna stop right there. I just thought I remember hearing them saying that they was trying to get him to Rawkus. Mm-hmm. But they probably saw the demise coming from them. That's probably why they snatched him up out of there.
Yeah, but it's
I think he enjoyed his time there.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the underground cats, like Thirsting, a lot of underground cats like Ari the Rugged Man, and Company Flow. He knew a lot of those dudes from his time in the underground. He knew and respected them. So I think he kind of fit in there because at his heart, he was a battle rapper in the underground kid.
I can go without the rugged man.
Yeah, well,
I could go without the rugged man. I think they could have gave somebody else.
Don't say that on the internet. People might kill you.
We'll get into that later.
I thought that the production on that song was great, good. I think it could have got brought out better if somebody else was on there.
We'll talk about that a little.
Yeah, I didn't like him on there at all. I was like, okay. I could hear the
interesting perspective.
Yeah, like you would have had somebody else on there. Like when it first came out, I was like, okay, I'm waiting for him to give it to me because I'm like, boo-boo-dum. I'm like, okay, he about to give it to me. He might as well just kept on boo-boo-dum, and the song would have probably been better.
Indeed.
And he said Stanley Kubrick. I'm like, oh, he about to go it. No.
Yeah.
Could have gave me somebody else on there.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Interesting. So, Jay, any highlights, lowlights, anything that you appreciate more so now than then?
Oh, man, plenty of highlights. So, of course, Any Man with Eminem, like I said, that was a pleasant surprise for me. Mm-hmm. I was really happy when the B-Boy document that Mad Skills got to showcase his ability because I was telling people about Mad Skills like 95, 96 because he really did get a raw deal in terms of having this album drop on like the worst day ever because that was like the same day like the Fugees and Pac dropped and pretty much got kicked to the back burner. Mm-hmm. So other highlights, man, so many. Patriotism, I really enjoyed that track.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor. Oh, and Bahamadia and Talib Kweli.
Oh yeah, that was chaos. Yeah, chaos.
Like it just made me realize how I don't know who makes the decision as far as like pairing up MCs on tracks with Rawkus, but it really took me back like even on the Lyricist Lounge, like when they had the jam with Holy Water, Lord Have Mercy, DV Alias Christ, and like I just think about that, and I feel like, and the feeling I had the same feeling that Riley had when he bit into the Luther Burger. Like this must be what crack feels like.
Good one.
That's
Good
really
Boondocks
that's a good
reference,
analogy,
by the way.
That's really how I feel because like they just matched each other so perfectly, and of course on the Soundbombing track, because Tash is like really underrated. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
But, like I think I said May already. Of course, Thurston Howe. Can't really think of any low points of the album. I mean, of course, I mean, I know you feel some way about Sadat X. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
On and 7XL. Like you know what I'm saying? Like just the way that beat was. I'm like.
I was done by DJ Spinner. Yeah,
I thought it was Molly Mall did the joint.
Yeah, well, Molly Mall did produced what was it? Pete Rock, Molly Mall, and DJ Spinner did 7XL.
Okay, yeah. So like I'm like this joint thumps. Like you know what I mean? Like just remember like take me back like high school. Just like listen to that joint on the CD player. Show my age. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
on the way home. So yeah, man. Like really can't think of any low points. I mean, I know Shabam Sadiq didn't quite measure up to everyone else on there, but that's all that comes to mind for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is the fact that he was on a track with Pharoah and then on a track with Tech and Steel. It's kind of hard, but Tech and Steel complement each other so well, man. Yeah. You know, and then when you have a third voice come in that doesn't really complement that, it's kind of hard. But you know, again, props to Nick Wiz as well because Nick Wiz has 2 straight sound bombs, dropped 2 straight heaters as far as beats are concerned. I'm still by that Arabian Nights joint, man. Goodness, one of the illest beats I've heard though, man. Considering the elements he took from that. Dave, same thing with you. Highlights, lowlights, anything you appreciate more so now?
Any Man, Eminem, B-Boy, Document. I slept on that. Just completely slept on that. World War III, it's Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick I slept on that. I know this dude in front of me does not like the track. But I mean,
it ain't rise though, man.
I'm sorry. It does. Like
the beat does ride nice in the car.
Look, Crosstown Beef, like the way the intro was just the way he did the Beat Junkie just did the intro into that track was just amazing.
I'm gonna be real. I slept on that track initially.
Oh man, like I love every time I hear the intro to Crosstown Beef. I'm like, oh, you just get the shivers. You know, 7XL slept on that, but Grandpoo is one of the most slept on artists.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion. Like,
absolutely.
Lyricism is, you know, he just destroyed the track and he covered up your boy Sadat X.
He's used to it. He's been doing it his whole career. Crazy, man.
Touche.
Yeah, he's been doing it his whole career, man.
That's J Boy. You don't try to put that on Brian. That's J Boy. You keep on shooting bail.
Patriotism is probably the track that I think everybody needs to listen to, especially with the way the world is going on right now. I think a lot of people need to listen to Patriotism and really just focus in on the track. 199, Next Universe. I mean, everything's a banger on this joint. Like I said, they could have probably taken off. They probably should have taken off Sadat X. Could have taken him off the album, period.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
I'm in agreement with that. You're not going to get an argument from me on that.
I mean, honestly, just take him off the album.
Shoot him some bail, Jay.
You're
Shoot him
not-
some
Just
bail,
take him off
Jay.
the album. Why
Shoot
not?
him some bail, Jay.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that at all.
I'm sorry.
Whatsoever. Sorry.
I'm saying,
I mean,
just look at what he was paired with. Look at who he's paired. You put 1999 with Common,
Right.
and Kweli did an intro that was more fire to his verse.
I agree. Like, you know, like Common and Quali would have been a better matchup if they traded like bar for bar as opposed to Sadat X. Like,
And instrumental like and Grand Puba, when you put Sadat X in that group.
Yeah.
I guess it was more so me tolerating Sadat X on that joint and really looking forward to a verse.
They should have been the last man off the bench. Shabam Sadiq and Sadat X. They should have been the ones getting clock minutes after 30 seconds left in the game, and you want to get them some clock.
Nah,
But,
they,
like,
they on a
that's
two-way.
my-
They on a two-way contract.
Two-way contract.
Well, I mean, I guess assuming Lord Jamar wasn't available to play, being a player.
Yeah, exactly.
Cold blooded.
So I'll give you my highlights. And my highlights are pretty much this. I loved, of course, Next Universe by Mos Def, 1999. I love Mayor by Pharoah Monch. Mayor by Pharoah Monch is another instance of Pharoah getting into his storytelling mode.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like the action as you follow his verse as he goes along from that intro.
Right.
Basically, him giving you the step-by-step details, everything from
Cops
he
in the
came
room
in
with guns and laser beams.
the blazing and everything. Like he's sitting there watching the action nude behind the shades in the hotel room, and should he make a dash for it now or later? It's just excellent painting of pictures and wordplay by Pharoah as always. Soundbombing took a lot from that with Tash and Dilated Peoples. I agree with you, Jay, as far as Tash. Tash is very underrated. Still remember a lot of his work with the Alcoholics Crew, and then as well his work on the first Lyricist Lounge with the Body Rock with him, Q-Tip, and Mos Def. One of my favorite tracks actually from that Lyricist Lounge Volume 1. Crosstown Beef was another good one. 7XL, Grand Puba, who we'll get to review some of his music next year, especially the Brand Nubian One for All debut album next year, which is a classic. Very understated. He is actually someone like we're going to actually review, sort of like I always put him and C.O. Smooth in the same type of category as far as like them being very smooth, very understated, but very, but fire lyrics and very nice flow and lyrics and everything else like that. As far as lowlights, well, you know what they are. There's Sadat X.
Of course.
There's Shabam Sadiq. I love to be able to see Mos Def and Skills. High and Mighty, like I said, I'm not a big fan. B-Boy Document to me, I think could have been better. I understand what y'all are saying. It's just I wasn't really a very big fan. Now, Thurston Howell, I do like his wordplay, but it's maybe, I think the big thing with him is maybe it's just his voice. That's what I think I don't really like about him more so than anything else. But he does have some very sick lyrics. The things he's talking about, it's just like, damn. You know, when you sit there and then dissect the lyrics, it's like, damn, this shit is ill as hell. Patriotism, I'm going to make a confession here. I respect LP for what it is that he does. I'm not really a big fan of his flow, though. Lyrically, he is sick, but I'm not a big fan of LP's flow. I'm not. And I think he's gotten better. I think he got better on a lot of the later company flow things, and especially on the Run the Jewels projects with Killer Mike. But this one, I don't know. I'm okay with it. I didn't dislike it, but, it's just one of those things like, I guess I kind of nitpick a little bit on things like that. But the production on this here to me was flawless. I think they did a great job here, mixing, doing production, and everything else. But those are pretty much my highlights. I think I definitely appreciate Chaos now a lot more, especially with Quali's verse that was on there as well. That's pretty much where I'm at with that. It was a good compilation album. I'm kind of glad that it came along when it did. It kind of set up the rest of the year and the next couple of years for Rawkus heading into which was their peak at that particular time. So next we're going to get into notable quotables. We'll go ahead and pull one from a few of you guys. So we'll go ahead and start and see what you guys think. So I'll go ahead and I'll start with you, Jay, if you have one up, a notable quotable from this one, if you want to pull one for us.
All right, say it without pulling it, but Eminem on Any Man, like it was. Jay was like, I strike a steel pose, hit you with some ill flows that don't even make sense, like dykes using dildos.
True.
And it was on patriotism. Let me see if I can get it right here, because you say he was saying so much on there. Okay, he was like, fucking with me means liberal wildlife burning gasoline seeds, and I'm on a magnetic throw while playing with metal plates on my knees. I'm like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. You be like, what was on your mind when you wrote that joint?
Like stuff I would have never thought to say. Like, you know what I mean?
He was mad.
Right.
Like, they wrote that whole track. I thought he was angry. I was like,
and could you imagine like doing a remake now? I mean, that was like doing the Clinton years. You know what I mean?
I wish somebody would do something like that. That's why I say, like, if you listen to patriotism now, you be like, wow, like this song should be literally listened to everybody right now. It's just, to me, it's just that important. I mean, B is just like, it's well written, but the flow is not there. But the lyricism to me is, and that track right there was very important.
And I guess like just like the contents of it just like drew me in so much. I didn't really focus on the flow of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's just what got me. I'm trying to think anything else. Okay, I'm not going to go to Sadat X because I'm not going to find anything there. So I'm going to just skip on by.
Oh, you didn't have a notable quotable for your boy?
I cannot say that I did. No,
I can't shoot him no bell, huh? It's terrible.
I guess like everything with Mad Skills is saying on B-Boy Document, like I'm right there, like nightmares, like catch MCs while they sleeping. Like he's another, like I say, he's another underrated person when it comes to like punchlines. Like put your head in the toilet, look, son, if you think my shit didn't change. Yeah. Yeah, I can go on and on, but I will stop right there. So
indeed, Dave,
I'm just gonna read Quali's intro to the 1999 because I just think it was dope. Yo, relax, take it easy, slow down. I just had this friend of mine who just who was just moving too fast. You know what I'm saying? I told him to slow down. He said the sun don't chill. I said stay still. I said still. You gotta just appreciate life. Sit back. Don't let it fly right past you. No matter what goes on, I'm still getting mine. No matter the year, no matter the place, no matter the time. That's why I said Quali should be on this track.
Oh, no argument there.
Shouldn't have been on this track, bro.
No argument there at all.
I think something that really jumped at me was the R.A., the Rugged Man verse on, what was it, Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah.
I'm just going to read this little bit right here. I was a little, like, put off by it. We fucking bitches by the hundreds. Why me? Want to fight me? Try me. Why these people don't know me, don't like me? Society, they want to see me dead. I stick out. You see me in public, I pull my dick out. Smack the fuck out of women. You see me knock your bitch out. Do something tough guy who want to fucking die. Clash of the Titans, broken bottles, bar fighting. You want to battle, I'm a freestyle. You can start writing.
Yeah.
I was like, whew.
That is a battle bar, ladies and gentlemen. That's a battle bar.
He's always been good for those type of bars, man. R.A. Rugged Man has been always.
And I was like, ew.
Donald was not feeling it. He was not feeling it at all.
I'm sorry, like
he
that,
was not feeling it at all.
That joint caught me. I was listening. I was like, "Ooh,
I heard
that's vile.
Yeah,
right. That's real vile."
Yeah,
I heard it.
Damo.
Pharaoh marched the mayor. In short, was that I had shot him several times in the head. Mount Sinai, 615, pronounced dead. The news reporter said that Sellens fled the city. Meanwhile, I'm shacked across the street in some shitty-ass hotel. Waiting till things get a little quiet, then I could try to bounce. But now, why should I even try? The ride and assumed I view bird's eye. 15 floors up behind the curtains in the nude. Took 365 to get close to him. I was like, okay, my guy's going.
Yeah,
I'm ready for his album.
Yeah.
When is this coming?
Yeah, nah, it was a good way he painted that picture, especially after the intro where he actually performed the act, and then he explains to you exactly what it is, and then the aftermath of it, everything, every step of it along the way. That was just really the great thing about Pharaoh. My quotable is actually about with Pharaoh too, by the way, and it was on actually World War III. And the first verse that he had is cleverly beginning them with synonyms when I went in with homonyms, extended them out, defending them with linear raps, when embalming them, bending them back, blending them with the miraculous type. Fuck us up. Y'all niggas do like Dracula's bite. Don't even bother. Got a lot of cats you swallow for dollar. Rap scholar, holler back like Rottweiler. Me get your hit split. You open, you sit down, get you in the ring. Sling, boxing rounds with you. Snap your bone gristle. Crystal Moet, Queen's missile, pistol whip your army issue, shouldn't fuck with you. Or get niggas like you, Seth, you useless. Attack back, smack your whole team toothless. Now welcome to the New York Knicks, where Avoraks are the jerseys and the boots are the kicks. Y'all on the dick like the way we pose for the flicks. Queen style and Red Hook now all in the mix.
Just drop the mic.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
I mean, it was just great. Just the way that he began that verse, just cleverly beginning them with synonyms when I went in with homonyms, extended them out, defending them with linear raps when embalming them. Like, it's just the way I love Pharoah's wordplay when he begins verses. It's just so awesome, man. That was really another one that I had actually was Kweli's verse. That was another good quotable as well. Most Def, of course, on his one was a good one as well on the Next Universe one. But there was some good quotables here. A lot of good lyrics. It had to be definitely a hard time to be sitting down with a lot of good lyricists that were on this album, and to be able to bring your game, especially if you were hearing tracks and you stepped in the studio to do your track and knew that you were going to be having to follow up somebody who just came in and laid down some heat. So, but there we are, lots of good quotables and everything else, and now here we are at the verdict to see whether or not this stands the test of time. So I'll go around the table. We'll go one by one to see whether it's certified, whether it's borderline, or just in its time. And I'll go ahead and start with Damo. And Damo, what do you say?
It's certified. Certified classic. It's right there. I can't call it trash. The lyrics on it too sweet, just so except for Jason Mann over there.
Yeah. Jay, what say you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's certified. Only reason I really think anybody may have a difference of opinion because it didn't have the popularity behind it. I mean, Rawkus was known back then, but it wasn't like mainstream, and I mean that's what they were going against. So those of us who appreciate it, those of us that are hip hop heads, the hell with everybody else, go listen to your hyphy fifey dances, whatever. But it's certified. Yes, us. Yeah.
Dave,
certified. There ain't nothing else for me to really say. From top to bottom, almost. It's just straight down the line, just excellent music.
I think I'm the only one who's different here. To me, I think it's borderline. And I say it's borderline because of this reason. I think there's just a few spots on here with that, for me, in my opinion, makes it for me in a certified classic. To me, to be quite honest, I thought this was actually, when it comes to the compilations, I thought there was a slight step down from Soundbombing 1. I actually like Soundbombing 1 a little bit better than this one. And a few guest spots and a few things here and there stopped it from being, to me, it's like right there all the way up to borderline classic, but a step away from me from being certified. So that's where I'll sit here, because there's a few things on here that prevents it from me from being a certified classic.
In 6 letters, SADATX.
So okay, I mean,
it's not just who's
gonna say
yeah, but it's not just him though. It's
Mr. Reggae Man too.
Yeah. There's a few other things in here when you put it together. I mean, it's right there, but to me, it's just that's the reason why it's borderline. Because if there'd be a few things cleaned up on this, I definitely would have liked this. Like, to me, I said the top of Rawkus's roster was really great. The rest of it, not all, in my opinion, not that great. And so I think with a few things cleaned up, it could be. It's definitely a great listen to, and has a replay value even after all these years, 20 years later. So we got 3 certifieds and 1 borderline, but it's still a really great album to listen to. And please go out there and check it out. Actually, I had to go on YouTube to find this because it's not on it's not on Apple Music. Soundbombing 1 and Soundbombing 3 are.
It's not on.
But this one, for some reason, is not the one. It's probably the most popular one too. Is that Soundbombing II one? And this is
the reason why is because of Eminem, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I think he's like his track Any Man was the reason why people listen to this album. The hip hop heads, in my opinion, rocked with it because of Common and that guy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
that guy.
I think that's fair.
But
I think that's fair.
I think Eminem was the reason why Soundbombing 2 was more popular.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to wrap up yet another edition of The Vault. Please make sure you check us out, of course, on all of our social media. You can see us on our host on Podbean, vaultcmr.podbean.com. But if you go on any of our social media pages on at the Vault CMR podcast and then also on Twitter, Vault Classic, you can see in our link page, our link tree to every single one of our podcast feeds. And then, of course, our new YouTube channel. Make sure you look up the YouTube channel of the Vault CMR Classic Music Review Podcast on YouTube. We post every one of our episodes there in video form, so you can listen to it there on YouTube as well. You can also download, stream, and subscribe on any one of the podcast formats listed in our link tree. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. We appreciate all the support, and if you have a friend, tell a friend. And if you have a friend, make sure you tell that friend to tell a friend. Want to make sure that you check out the Raw Sex Podcast here by Damo every Wednesday, released, of course, on Podbean, on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Great conversation there about relationships, dating, sex, and everything in between. We even talked music this past episode. It was a good discussion. You make sure you check out the Ground Rule Double podcast on Facebook with my boy Dave. Of course, check your listings there. Could be anywhere between the week, between Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. We do a great job talking the world of sports on Facebook and also on Mixcloud and Spreaker,
Google,
and Google Podcasts.
We finally got Deezer on board.
Exactly. So, and of course, appreciate my boy Jay for his perspective and bringing his taste of hip hop to the table. We always love the discussion you guys bring to us. I always want to make sure in closing that you keep your headphones on and your music loud, but not too loud. As we close, we like to remind everyone to dream big, because dreams are the basis for creation. Always create, motivate, and elevate, because you were never destined or created to stay stationary in this life. And on that note, we say peace.
Thank you for listening and coming into The Vault. Please subscribe and follow us on Facebook at IV Creative and Instagram at IVECRE8.